Hey, hello guys. Good morning everyone. This is Priya, your English teacher from Alpha Group of Institutions. And today we are going to discuss the remaining half of the chapter 10, The Cobbler Turned Doctor. That is from English literature book. In the last session we have discussed the first half, right? What is that first half? It means I think scene 1 and scene 2. So let us recap what has happened in scene 1 in this particular lesson, the cobbler turned doctor. So the main characters of this lesson were the cobbler, grocer, and then gardener, customer 1, customer 2, and third customer. The third customer is the old woman. But when we were discussing scene 1, we didn't come across governor. But the characters who were in this lesson were these 6 characters. So as we had discussed that the first customer first, before the customer enters, let us talk about the cobbler and the grocer. The cobbler and the grocer were the shopkeepers and their shops were neighboring. Okay. So one day when they were sitting alone, when cobbler is thinking about he is not having any customers with him, suddenly the first customer entered him and he was just shouting at the cobbler because of his qualityless work. And the second customer also came again and he also started shouting. And then he also told the cobbler, promised that he will go out and he is going to tell the people who were outside that how bad this particular cobbler's work was. And the customer's wife, he made the customer's wife's shoes with a brown sheet. And also the second customer warned the grocer indirectly not to put sand in the salt, isn't it? Now coming to the third customer here is an old woman. What did she do? As soon as she entered into the cobbler's shop, what she had done was she just threw the first shoe directly onto the shopkeepers, that is the cobbler's head. And then the second shoe has also been followed. Second shoe has also followed and both the shoes was hit, both the shoes were thrown by that old woman on the cobbler's head. And this is how the cobbler was exhausted. He became exhausted by meeting the customer's negativity, and also he was afraid that how to face the outside, how to face the society, that because he may get a bad name, he may get a bad review. And the second customer also promised that he is going to tell about the bad work of that particular cobbler to the outside people. And the lady, the old woman, you know how she shouted and how she threw the shoes at him. Later, the cobbler and the grocer started discussing between them. Hereafter, that cobbler has no chance of running the business and he was exhausted. He don't have an idea what to do also. And here the grocer plays his turn. As we all know, both are frauds. Both are pakka frauds. The cobbler is doing all sorts of, instead of using leather, he is using brown sheets and all. And then instead of using sugar, brown sugar, this particular grocer is adding sand into the brown sugar. Right? And this, as we know, this both have a negative impact in the society. This grocer is now giving a suggestion to the cobbler to become a doctor. Now the cobbler is saying that I know only mending a shoe, but how come I become a doctor? He has no idea at all. And now the grocer is saying that you can become a doctor, but you cannot treat the cold because each and every family has a home remedy at home itself. So no patient will come to you for treating the cold. And the second option is if you want to try a treatment for your blindness, the people are very rare suffering with blindness, so you may not get the patients, isn't it? Now the grocer is giving the suggestion that you have to prepare a drug. You have to prepare a medicine, a drug which should be very cheap and which should be available for you in abundance and which should become an antidote to all the poisons in the environment. It means you have to advertise your antidote drug to the people that it will be an antidote to all the poisons and that sort of advertisement only will attract the patients and you will become a very big doctor. And now the cobbler was really impressed with the grocer's suggestion. He was impressed with the grocer's suggestion and now he decided to become a doctor. And also he was telling him that if this plan becomes success and I start earning money from more and more customers, clients, patients, for sure, one day I will pay you handsomely. It means I will pay you a huge amount of cash for this idea if it becomes success. This is how the both cobbler and the grocer discussed between them and then planned for certain thing. So with this, the first scene we have completed, and in the last session till this only we have discussed, right? And today we are going to discuss the second scene. It means the second session of the lesson. So let us see what happened in the second scene. Okay guys. And now the second scene starts here. So the time is 6 months later. After 6 months, it means this conversation about the first customer, second customer, third customer was happened 6 months before. And when they decided to become a doctor, when the cobbler decided to become a doctor, now the scene 2 starts after 6 months from this incident. Okay. Then the place is straight in another part of the town, because in that particular town he got a bad name as a cobbler, and if he become a doctor, no, for sure he will be arrested by the police. So he shifted from that town to another town and there he is settled as a doctor. So the place where this scene happened was straight in another part of the town, that too 6 months later. And the characters, as usual, the cobbler and the grocer. The cobbler who is the turned doctor, right? Yes, let me read first, children. Grocer. Why, it is my old friend the cobbler. It is a long time since we met. How is business now? Cobbler. Pardon me, I am no longer a cobbler but a doctor. Haven't you heard of a famous physician Mendel? Yes. Now after 6 months, when the grocer met cobbler, he was just inquiring him, how are you cobbler? Do you remember me? How is your business going on? Because these two only discussed about the new business, right? So he is as usually, as he was his neighboring shopkeeper and also his friend who suggested to do this job. And this fellow was inquiring that fellow that how are you and how is your business, and we had met since 6 months back and now we are meeting. It's nearly a long time back we met. And now the cobbler shows some sort of eagerness because I think his business has succeeded, and you know the egoistic way of talking comes out. Now this cobbler, rather than being happy and inquiring about his friend grocer, but he is just answering in the way that, pardon, means say again, I am not a cobbler now, I am a doctor. Did you ever heard about a famous physician? It means famous Dr. Mendel. Have you ever heard about Dr. Mendel? And that is me, and I am not a cobbler. Anyhow, this is the way how the cobbler is replying to the grocer. Okay. Now grocer. Mendel, haha, that still smacks of the cobbler, though it is a good name for you, for your new trade. Cobbler, trade, I would have you known, sir. I would have you know, sir, that I am now engaged in a profession. Grocer, well, call it what you will. It is all one, so long as the money comes rolling in. Cobbler, I have nothing to complain of on that score. When fame comes, riches soon follow. Grocer, I am glad to hear you are rich. Cobbler, thank you. And now grocer's turn. Yes, I am glad for my own sake as well as yours. Your own sake, I do not understand. You have a bad memory, my friend. Do I help you to make all this wealth? Now here comes the exact twist of the story. Shall we see? Now when this cobbler is saying that I am doctor, I am the famous physician Mendel, the cobbler has a small smile in his face. He is saying, Mendel, haha, whatever the name you are keeping, you are having at present, It suits your cobbler profession because the cobbler mends shoes. So the word mend is mending a shoe. And he's just keeping his name as Mendel. So in that sync, in that way of thought, the grocer is saying that the Mendel name suits you better. Now the cobbler is saying then how is your trade? How is your trade means kudukal vangal. Okay, how is your trade now he's asking. And now the cobbler is saying trade? No. I am not doing any business here. I am not doing any business here. I became a professional doctor. I became a professional doctor. I'm not doing any business. I'm always engaged. I'm a busy professional doctor. Now again the grocer. Okay. Whatever it think, whatever the name, whatever the profession you take, okay, it's okay. Let it come. As long as we have money coming and going, everything we can do is perfect. And this fellow is saying, not about the money. Here the cobbler is saying, not about the money at all. If we become famous, automatically we become rich. Rich comes following us. It means once we become famous, automatically the money also comes behind us. With that egoistic thought he is speaking. Here glosser is saying, I'm really happy to hear that you became rich. I'm really happy that you are rich. Be seeing the grocer's happiness, the cobbler said, thank you, sir. Now the grocer, okay, even I feel happy for you seeing that you are a rich person. On the same way, I feel happy for myself also. The grocer is saying, now the cobbler got out. You are saying happy when I become rich, but why you are feeling as yourself also happy? Then now grocer is saying, yes, I think you have a very bad memory, friend. I think you are forgetting everything. Your memory power is very low because the position now you are is only because of me. I am the only one who suggested to become a doctor. I am the only one who suggested to prepare and how to sell the drugs. And I am the only one for you to become this much rich. And the only reason for you to become rich. This is how the grocer answered for cobbler's doubt. Next. Cobbler. No, I have done it by my own efforts, but by my advice. Advice? Words are cheap. All the same, you promise to reward me handsomely when you become rich, but your promises are as cheap as my words of advice. You will get no reward from me. Go back to your shop and work for your living. The grocer is saying, very well, we shall see. Now the cobbler, do you threaten me, fellow? Out of my way. I shall be late at the marketplace. We shall meet again, and I hope not. Now the cobbler is showing his bloody bad character here. The cobbler is saying, no. I have not become rich because of you. I have become rich only because of my work, only because of my efforts, he is saying. Now the grocer, whatever you gave your effort, the advice is mine. I suggested because of my suggestion only you are doing all those things. Still the cobbler is not, accepting. What advice? You don't do, your words are very cheap. He's just shouting at the cobbler that your words are very cheap, grocer. Now the grocer is saying, okay, you are saying that my advice is a very cheap word, but you promised me that day when I am suggesting once I become a doctor and become rich, I will pay you a huge amount of money. You promised me, but you are not standing on the promise. So that is also as cheap. Your promise is also as cheap as you told my advice as a cheap word. Now the cobbler is saying, why should I reward you? Why should I give you money? Just go back to your shop. I'm having work. Just go. The cobbler is saying that, he's saying on the face itself that one day he told that I will pay you, I'll give you a reward. And now this cobbler is saying, why should I give reward to you? It's all my words and my efforts, my money and my profession. Why should I give you the work? Why should I pay you? Just go back. Go back to your shop and look back your business. Do your own business. Don't interfere in mine. I am having my work. Now the grocer is saying, okay, I am leaving, but let us see what will happen. And now the cobbler, what will happen means, are you threatening me? Are you threatening me that what will happen? Let us see what will happen. Even I am ready to face it and you will also be ready. Then the grocer is saying, okay, now I am leaving, let us meet again. For that also the cobbler is saying, but I am not ready to meet and I hope not to meet you again. This is the way how the cobbler is trying to avoid grocer, but the grocer, he was just feeling happy. He felt happy for his friend to see that he became a rich person. But when he saw his egoistic character, bad temper, he was really upset and he started walking away from that place. Okay. And here the scene 3 starts. Now the timing is an hour later. The first one is 6 months before. The second scene is after 6 months. And now the third scene is a small discussion which happened after an hour. The cobbler and the grocer met. The place is the marketplace. I think you remember the cobbler said to the grocer that I have to go to the marketplace. I'm going now. You just do your business. Like that he said and he went, right? So this scene will happen in the marketplace. The characters going to play in this scene 3 were the cobbler, the grocer, the governor and bystanders. Bystanders means the people who were standing there. Now the doctor is standing with a bottle of his antidote in his left hand and is calling the people to buy. Here doctor means they are not like having a hospital or clinic, children. They used to sell the medicines sitting on the roadside. I think still you can see some of that Ayurvedic medicine. Some people will be selling all those lakium and all. Like that, the people used to sell the medicine sitting on the roadside. So now this doctor, who is this? The cobbler. This doctor is sitting on the near roadside and he is standing with a bottle in the market with a bottle of antidote in his left hand and he is calling all the people to buy it and advertising his medicine that it is a best antidote drug. Now there comes the governor. Where is the fellow you told me about? Grocer pointing. There he stands, crying his ways. Governor, we must look into this matter. Goes up to the cobbler. Is your name Mendel? It is, sir. Now, when this cobbler who is acting like a doctor is selling his medicines in the marketplace, suddenly a governor came to the marketplace and he's asking, where is that man? Where is that fellow who are talking about? Where is it? Now the grocer, it means the grocer directly went to the governor and complained about the cobbler, I think so. So that is what the grocer also came along with the governor and he is saying that there that cobbler is standing, that the man who is shouting and selling his antidotes, that man is a grocer. Now governor says again, okay, definitely we have to look into what happened actually. We have to inquire what happened that. And then that governor goes directly to the cobbler and is asking that, are you Mendel? Is your name Mendel? And the cobbler saying, yes, it is. Yes, sir, I am Mendel. Or anything, sir? He's asking like that. Now the governor, and is it true that you sell a famous remedy? Cobbler, it is true. I have in this bottle an antidote to all poisons. With this drug in his possession, the husband is safe from his wife when she poisons his wine. With this drug, Governor, words are cheap. We will test the doctor's skill. To the bystanders, one of you bring a cup of water. Grocer, I will go. Now, Governor, now, my fine fellow, if your drug has all the virtues you claim, it will protect you from the effects of the drink I am now about to mix for you. Cobbler, trembling, what are you going to do? Governor, here is our friend with a cup of water, takes it from the grocer. Now see, I drop into it this deadly poison. Now listen, the governor is so cautious and when he inquired the cobbler, is your name Mendel? Yes, he said, yes sir, what is it? Now governor is asking, I heard about a famous doctor sending a famous medicine for all the poisons. Is it you that who is selling this famous remedy? The cobbler is saying very proudly, yes sir, it is true. I am the one who is selling this antidote to all the poisons. And with these drugs, a husband is saved from his wife when she poisoned her husband's wine. So with this drug. So my drug will be very useful to remove all the poisons from any sort of poison from the drinks. Now the governor is thinking that your words are looking little cheap. Okay, let us test the doctor's skill. And the bystanders, the people who are standing around in the marketplace around the doctor's spot, he called one of the bystanders, one of the man from the group. He called him and asked to bring a cup of water. Now the grocer is standing here. That what is going to happen? Yes. Now the grocer told that, okay sir, I will bring you the cup of water. Now the governor said, he said, okay Mr. Doctor, a fine fellow, you said that your words, what all the words you spoke, that your antidote is one of the best antidote, your drug is one of the best antidote for all the poisons, and you told that many lives were saved. Now I want to check how your medicine is going to break the poison in this water. Now the cobbler is little shocked and he's confused that what he's going to do. And with a shivering in his voice, he's just asking, sir, excuse me, what are you going to do? May I know what you're going to do? Now the governor is speaking very soft, he is very cool. And he's saying, okay, my friend is bringing a cup of water. I am going to add a drop of deadly poison in this water and I want to check the quality of your medicine. Okay, children? Now the cobbler, oh mercy, governor, you will be only too pleased. You will be only too pleased to prove us all the power of your famous antidote. So I now offer you this cup of drink. Cobbler, overcome with fright, oh mercy, I am not a doctor. I never was a doctor. The drug is a sham. Sham means fake thing. It will not save me from your poison. Spare me, kind sir, or I shall die in agony. I am only a poor cobbler. Indeed, I am, as the grocer there. Oh, spare me. Now, when this governor added a deadly poison in a cup of water and he was forcing the doctor come cobbler to drink the medicine, because he is the one who is selling the medicines, that whoever takes the poison, if that person takes the same drug which is sold by the doctor, they will be cured at any sort of things, right? Now the governor added a drop of deadly poison in the water and asking the cobbler to drink that poisoned water. And he also adds that he want to check the quality of his famous antidote for all the poisons. And now the cobbler is really frightened. He was in a fright. Fright means scared. Okay. And with all his fright in his mind, now the cobbler accepts his fraudness. Accepts the truth that, sorry sir, I am not a doctor. And I have never practiced medicine. I am not even a doctor and I was never a doctor. And the drugs, the medicines which I am selling now is everything a fake. Just an advertisement. It's not a true medicine. If I drink the cup of water which you gave to me, for sure I will die. And also this medicine will not save me. And the cobbler also added to this that I am not a doctor, I am a poor cobbler. Indeed, I am a cobbler who mends the shoes in the other town. You can ask the grocer who is just standing beside you. You all know that the grocer is the one who gave the idea to that cobbler, and he was the one who met the cobbler after 6 months and who remembered him that he would pay him handsomely. Later a small cold war came between the grocer and the cobbler, and you know how this cobbler went to the marketplace avoiding the grocer, and to take the revenge on the cobbler, this stupid grocer, what he did is he went to the governor and complained on him. Now the governor came to test the quality of the cobbler's medicine, Later, the grocer is standing and watching all the scenario, what is happening there between the cobbler come doctor and the gardener. Okay, gardener. You deserve no mercy. You are a cheat and a knave. Knave means villain. Okay, children? Knave, knave means villain. There is no poison in the water. Haha. Cobbler. This is your doing? Grocer, I told you that we would meet again. Gardener to the cobbler, if you value your life, leave this town. The cobbler hurries away. To bystanders, as for you citizens, I can call you nothing but fools. You have trusted your heads to a man who could not even mend your shoes. Now, when the grocer came to the ground level, when he came to the ground and when he was on the knees requesting and begging the gardener to show mercy on him for the fault he has done, the gardener is saying, you deserve no mercy. Means we must not show any mercy on you. You doesn't deserve it also because you are a cheat, you are a villain and you are a fraud. And the one thing, there is no poison at all in the cup. We just made a trick to get the truth from you. To get out the truth from you, now the grocer who is standing beside the gardener, he just laughing. Ha ha ha. The cobbler now. He understood that everything, the sketch was made by the grocer and he got angry and he was, is that you who is doing all these things, grocer? Now the grocer is saying, just an hour ago when we met in a friendly way, I was trying to talk to you, I was trying to be friendly with you, be friended with you. The way you behaved and the way you avoided me at that moment, I told you that we will meet again. We would meet again. So this is how I am going to meet you now and how I met you now. These are the grocer's words and the cobbler felt ashamed in front of all the bystanders, grocer and the governor. Now the governor is saying, if you want to save your life, if you want to save yourself from here, just leave the town. He just warned and cobbler immediately he packed his things and ran away from this town. Now the gardener turned to the bystanders. Bystanders means the people who were standing around that place. He just turned to them, to the bystanders. The gardener is suggesting that you are the citizens, but I call you as fools. Not the people or not the citizens or not humans. I'll call you as fools. Because you are just believing, you're just trusting blindly on a man who is selling a garbage to you. A man who can't even mend your shoes. His profession is a cobbler, but he can't even mend your shoes. How come he become a doctor and sell the medicines and how you are blindly buying all those things? That is why I am calling you as fools. And with this, the story ended, children. Hope I think you all have understood scene 1, scene 2 and scene 3 and the conversation between the grocer, cobbler, gardener and the 3 customers and the bystanders along with the Priya ma'am. Is it so? I think I made you to understand the story. If you have any more doubts regarding this story when you are coming to the school for doubt clarifying session, you can ask your teachers without any hesitation. Even the metric children or the CPSC children, we are ready to clarify your doubts. So this is the end of the story and let us do the book back exercise. If you open page number 61 in the textbook, page number 61, you can see the exercise. Rewrite the sentences as directed. Rewrite the sentences as directed, page number 61. So, in this exercise, they have given a sentence for you and in the bracket, they gave a hint for us like how we have to rewrite the sentence by using what. For example, first one, what will you do? This is the question. What will you do? In the bracket, we have to use going to. We must not use the word USE because this is just it is just a hint for us. The words which are in red font only we have to use. They are asking us to rewrite the sentence, reframe the sentence using going to. So what will you do means what are you going to do? So are the be form of the verbs also changed here. What are you going to do? Okay, this is the answers are in purple color, children. You can copy it in the textbook exercise itself. No need to copy in the classwork. Second one, spare me, kind sir, or I shall die in agony. So this sentence we have to begin with unless. We have to use a word unless in the beginning of the sentence, and we have to reframe the sentence. Unless you spare me, kind sir, I shall die in agony. Same thing will come here, but when you are using unless, or will not come there. Unless you spare me. When you are using unless in the first set of words, the second set of words must be in a negative form. Negative form means I shall die in agony. So the answer is unless you spare me, kind sir, I shall die in agony. Third one, only a fool would do this. Replace only with none. It means in the question only only is there. We have to remove this only and we have to replace that only with none, none. Only a fool would do this means the answer is none but a fool would do this. So there are 8 questions in this exercise, children. I have done 3 for you and I have explained how to replace and how to use the words and how to reframe the sentences again. The remaining thing you have to do the exercise as usual. Do the textbook exercise and then take a snap and post it in the group. Along with this, the PDF will be coming. You have to finish the classwork very neatly with a handwriting presentation. Later, you have to read all the question answers. So in the last session, I told you to read the synonyms, right? In this session, you have to read the question answers, write a home test, get a sign from your parent and post it in the group. So today's activity is in page number 61, you have to rewrite the sentence exercise, and then reading part is you have to read the question answers and write a home test and take a snap and post it in the group with parent's signature. The children who are coming to the school, you can submit to me also, no problem. I will correct it in the school. And thank you, children. Thank you for staying with me. This is Priya signing off from Alpha Group of Institutions. Bye.